Hello, welcome to Scrap Time episode 955. My name is Christine and on today's episode I'm showing you the Wow embossing powders and molds. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can make these great embellishments using the Wow embossing powders as well as their molds. This is the shabby rose and the foliage button. And you can see the two different designs down here. You can also see here I had a solid red, or the difference if with the glittered red. So depending on your powders, you get some different looks. This is pretty, that's the peacock feathers. And then some of the metallic colors. This is actually red that I added gold into. And then this is the straight brass color. And then we have black, and then the difference between white and the pearl is really pretty as well. So you can mix and match your embossing powders. You can do just the one color embossing powder, the glittered, the solids, doesn't matter. And you make all these fabulous embellishments. You can turn them into rings, are pretty, pendants. They have some molds with smaller designs that could be earrings. They can be used on scrapbook layouts, mixed media projects, so many different uses. But I'm going to be showing you today how to make the flower. To make these flowers, you want to get this Wow embossing powder, the Melt It powder, as well with the color you want to use. I'm going to use metallic brass, and then you want a mold, and I'm using the button foliage mold. Now the Melt It powder is a really fine embossing powder, and it's great because you'll use this for the bulk and then a bit of the brass for the color. Now I also have this piece that I didn't have enough left, and so I didn't get a full flower. So I also want to show you how you can remelt any pieces that didn't work out how you wanted. I am using a little muffin tin. It was actually a cupcake tin and I just cut it apart. And so what you want to do is pour in a couple scoops, it depends how many flowers you're making, of the Melt It powder. I've used this jar and I've made I think about 25 flowers or so, and so I've used about half. So I think a jar would make over 50 flowers in my guesstimate. I don't know exactly. And then with my colored embossing powder, I don't need that much. I usually probably put in more than I need, but even like that much. And then you just mix it around. Like that, so it's all sort of mixed in. I have a cat fur, of course, in mine. So that's the great thing of using the Melt It powder, is you don't waste all your colored powders. The Melt It powder is what you use the most of. Then you want a clothespin or something to hold on, because the metal will get really hot. We're going to be melting that now. And we're going to put this aside. So now I'm going to use my heat gun and melt from underneath so the powder doesn't blow everywhere. And it takes a little bit of time to melt it all down. So I'm going to start working on melting my powders. So you can see that my powder is pretty much melted. There's a little bit of that rose left in there, so I can bring it out to the front and just get that rose to finally just fully dissolve into the liquid. So if you make a mistake, or if you have one that you don't really like so much, it's no problem. You just remelt it down again. So now I pull over my mold, and you want to keep your heat on it as you pour it, because otherwise it may harden. So you just pour it in. And if you're not going to make a second one. I can just turn it off, and that will just harden and be there for the next time I use this color. And so now we just want to let it sit a few minutes. If you touch it, it's still really hot. I know from experience, I've touched things too early. So I'm just going to let it sit for a couple minutes just to cool down. So if you were making a few, or if you were going to make a ring, you could put your ring in it right now. So it hardens around your ring, or earring tops or pins, whatever. You can put it in while it's still that liquidy molten. If you're just making a bunch of embellishments, you could fill them up and fill your different molds and then come back and pop it out. So I'm just going to give it a minute. I don't want to touch it too soon, and then we will pop it out. So my flower is now cool to the touch, so I can easily just pop it out. If I have a little excess piece, I can just break it off there. And you can see all the pretty details in the flowers and all that. The powders, or the melted powders, get into all those details to form these really great embellishments. And it's that easy to use the molds and the Wow embossing powders to make your own embellishments for your projects. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm going to be showing you the Photo Mate backdrop. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.